Good morning and welcome to Pillar 5 demonstration. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of the tool and its functionality. So let's begin at the dashboard. Once you've completed the profile section and have registered your account, you will do a walkthrough that will ask you questions about your business sustainability in order to identify the life cycle stage of the business. Then it will walk through and determine which items inside of that life cycle stage has not been completed. Now, obviously, if you are a consultant, a coach, a mentor, or someone who is servicing a client, you would be using Pillar 5 to service them. However, we've built it in a way so that you get the very same experience that they get when they first initiate with the tool. So you'll go through the very same walkthrough. The difference is you'll go straight to your dashboard at the end. And just because I've explained that part to you, I want you to know that when you're ready to continue working on your business, because even as a consultant, a coach, a mentor, an advisor, a strategist, you still want to be able to develop your business as well. And we don't penalize you by using any of your dashboards or any of your diagnostics. We actually give you access to develop your business absolutely free as part of your account. So the way to go back and take a look at yours, you just come back in here to your profile and go to manage original profile. And as you can see here, this is where you can develop your business. And you can see what areas, and I'll explain all that in a minute. But this is where you'll be able to come in and start working and completing the tasks necessary to build a sustainable business at the level that your business is on. Okay, so let's get back to the dashboard and let's talk about some of the things that you'll be able to experience. First, sustainability diagnostics are the diagnostics that your clients will take in order to identify where they are in their business, right? The proverbial question is, where is my business? So this will identify the life cycle stage of their business and what action steps they need to take to complete them. And those are called sustainability diagnostics. Now, just because you issue a sustainability diagnostic to a potential client, which you can do so simply by clicking on the invite button, you can either embed this link into your website or on your page or in a mail out or in an event, however you'd like to do it. We made it very feasible for you to do so. You can do that, or you can come in here and you can invite through email. Now, the reason I love this feature so much is when I was consulting, and I actually still consult, but I've limited my numbers of clients. But now that now that you can come in here and simply click on the invite button, put in a name of a person that you'd like to invite to this. You may have their contact because they gave you a business card. This could be a client that you're speaking to on the phone. However that may come about, you simply just plug in their information, plug in their email, and hit create. And an email gets sent to them inviting them to take the diagnostic. Now that is easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. No longer do you have to spend hours on discovery calls or 30 minutes on a discovery call. That time is money, and we value the time of consultants. Now, some of you will do host events, whether you're speaking on behalf of a chamber or the Better Business Bureau or just a master class or something like that. You can simply click on the bulk upload. Here we'll take a CSV file, and here that contains name and email address of the client, and then you can upload that file. Simply click on the browse button. You can pick a file, and then you upload that file, and every one of those individuals on your list will receive access to do a diagnostic. And then below, once you've completed that, you'll see all of the names of the individuals who you've actually sent out diagnostics to. Now, here on this page, you can see their name, their email, and it tells you how long it's valid for, right? Because we don't want you to send out uh, diagnostics to your potential clients and they take 4 weeks to respond. So we've put a 48-hour time limit on these. Now you can always reset them if a client calls and says, "Hey, I got it, but I was busy and wasn't able to do it." You can come over here and you can click this reactivate button. Really easy if it's there. But typically you'll just see whether or not it's registered. As you can see, that one is not, and this one is. The link will expire once they've registered. And that time has passed, and it'll tell you when it was created. So as you can see, if you look at this date and you look at this date and time, You can see that is a 48-hour period. Okay. You can always delete this information if you like to. I would not suggest to. This is kind of like a CRM, if, in a way, with a contact list, if you will. These will be all the clients that you have invited into the system, whether they're registered or not. If someone needs more time to do so, you simply come over here to click the reactivate button and click yes. And as you'll see, it will, and let me refresh my page. Okay, so now that is reactivated, and you can see that it's valid up to 7/15/20, and today is the 13th. Okay, so that's added 2 more days for them to get registered. Well, great, and the way you can quickly identify that is it's no longer saying expired. As you can notice, this one says expired. This one now shows the link. All right, so let's do that again. Click the reactivate, click yes, and you'll see that that has shifted from expired to a link. So they say, well, you sent it, but my email address is wrong. You can simply copy the link and send it to them in an email. All right, so that's how you invite your clients, and you can do so straight from the dashboard. Okay, then you have your active client dashboards. When a client completes the diagnostic, they eventually will land on a page saying, hey, you need to request access to a dashboard from your consultant. So they'll reach out to you and say, I finished, I'd like to get access to the dashboard. This is where you get to begin your negotiations with them to determine whether or not they're your ideal client, whether or not you want to work with them, whether or not you want to give them a dashboard. Are they going to be a waste of your time? Whatever you need to do to bring that client on completely. The first part, obviously, is going to give you just enough information about that client to determine whether or not the client is your ideal client. So as you can see here, here's a potential client. If I click on the contact now button for this particular client, it's going to take me to this client's information. It tells me this client is in the seed stage. They're on level 1.1. They're 92% done with the current activity, 10% with the overall. Okay. So this 92% is a relationship to the level in the seed stage. Overall is to complete sustainability. And as we scroll down a bit, you can see here from the life cycle stage graph that they have completed 11 of the 12 items here. So they still need to complete this item to move on to the next level in the seed stage. Now, this helps you to determine whether or not this is the type of client for you. I know some consultants, strategists, mentors, and consultants do not specifically deal with clients in seed stages. They're too new or whatever the reason is. Some like to deal with businesses that are in the startup stage. Some rather deal with businesses that are in the growth stage. Some rather deal with businesses that are in the maturity stage. Just depends on your niche and your expertise. This really helps you to hone in on the client. So if your client is in the seed stage and these are the clients you want to deal with, great. Then this would be a client you would want to work with. If it's not, if the seed stage is not your cup of tea, then this probably would not be your client. And again, this is just an example. Here we have an activity report below that client. And we've made it very easy to get to these sections in numerous ways. So, there's never just one way to get there. You can see the activity date, when they first started, the life cycle stage reports, the levels, the sustainability score, their previous sustainability score. And as you can see here, let's just start back from the bottom. So you'll see that their sustainability score was 59. That means they had never done it before. They're brand new. So their score change was a 59, right? Then the most recent activity is that their sustainability score is at a 54. Previous sustainability score was at a 59. That means somewhere along the line, they marked that they completed something that they actually did not complete. And I'll show you further on in this demonstration how you can actually go and change their score or change the items they mark complete. Because as a consultant, you may very well know that they have or have not completed a task. And sometimes clients will think that they've completed something. Let's just, for example, say, do you have a marketing plan? Well, in their mind, they have a marketing plan, but did they write out a marketing plan? Are you in your business, or you as a consultant require them that they do a specific type of marketing plan? And if so, then that's the marketing plan they should be developing to show you. Once they've showed you, then they should be marking it complete so you can verify that it's done. And this just leans on the fact that building a business requires coaches, consultants, advisors, and strategists, because someone needs to be the Q&A. Someone needs to check off to make sure that they've done it and that they've done it right. Right. And so this is your ability to do so. Development activity, as you can see, they're moving along. It's been 11 days since the last life cycle change, days since the last level change. So once they complete the next one, you'll see that it changes. And then over time, you can keep up to see how long it's taking them to actually move through the levels and move through the life cycle stages. And it helps you to understand whether or not your client is really active on this dashboard, and if they're really working to complete the tasks, or are they not doing the work and expecting the consultant to do the work? And again, that's your choice when you're dealing with clients, whether or not you want them to do the work or whether or not you want to do the work. And most consultants that I know, they expect the clients to do the work. And so they want to know that the clients are doing the work. And this is a way to keep up with their activity to know whether or not they are. Another one is a detailed report that breaks down the number of KPIs they've answered. These are the building blocks, the numbers that they've actually completed. So they did 12, they completed 11. So that means somebody took one off, right? We remember that from the top. The next level is next number, the number of KPIs they have remaining until they get to the next level is 1, right? And as we come back up really quick, you can see there it is. That's the one that they need to complete. It's an infrastructure one. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. And then the next life cycle stage. So it's going to take them 71 more KPIs till they get to the next life cycle stage, not the level. Okay, so these are levels 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. In startup, there's 2. And in growth, expansion, and maturity, there's 1. So when we speak of levels, we're speaking of these. When we speak of life cycle stages, we're speaking of these down below. The seed stage, startup stage, growth stage, expansion stage, and maturity. So here is saying 71 more questions need to be answered for them to make it to the next life cycle stage. And then how long is it going to take them to get to the end of maturity? 103. And so this would be the end of maturity, meaning they've completed all of the tasks in maturity. Okay, so you can keep up with how fast they're moving, how far they need to go. And it's great to help them with when you're building out reports for them to show them what they're doing. Okay, a vendor relationship report, vendors relations report. I'm not going to go into that now. That is actually a feature we're adding to it. And so we won't go into that detail, and I will do an update later with more information on that, because that may very well change as we're developing. Okay, so now let's take a look at the benchmark questions. So what you're looking at is every question that is inside of the life cycle stage and level that they are working on. So as you can see, they're in seed 1.1, correct? All right. So you can see every question. You can see every pillar. These are the pillars. We'll talk about pillars in a moment. This is the building blocks, or KPI, if you will. And here's the question that they're asked. And obviously it's not in this format. And here's their answer. So now you can look and see their answers. Okay. And all of these are marking as yes, correct? So we're just scrolling through this very quickly so you can see. And this is marked as yes, but it's not completed. Okay. So this is the one question that they're waiting on to complete. Okay. So again, if you went in here and you had a discussion with your client and you spoke to them about having the initial business plan, and they met with you or spoke with you and you determined they did not do that. That is not accurate. It was not complete. It should not be marked. You can simply come in here and mark that as a no, and then mark it as incomplete. You'll see my system update, successful, your answer updated. You'll see their score drop down to 83%. A moment ago, it was 90%. Their overall was 10%, and has dropped down to 9. And as you can see, it shows that there is another item in this list that is not complete. If we come back through these reports really quick, activity report, here it is. Their sustainability score is now 49. The previous sustainability score was 54. We've brought that down by 5 points simply by taking off one of the items. Now, these scores are going to be changed to percentages, and this is just part of our development. So you're getting a look at a pre-launch version of Pillar 5 at the moment. So these scores will actually become percentages and not scores. Um, Anyway, so as we go through, and you'll see all of these numbers have changed because there has been a change to the questions. So you can always come in and see every question that they're working on or will be working on in that lifecycle stage. So now let's go over and look at demo 2 as a client, and in which we'll just go to the clients section here. As you can see, it drops down and we picked all clients. So here's our demo T. And as you can see, they have a dashboard access, and this one does not have a dashboard access. Okay, you get a quick view of their name, their business classification, whether they're B2C, B2B, what is their business classification, the current stages, the current completion levels, whether they're active or inactive. Active or inactive, meaning that they have access to the dashboard, and when it was created on. And this little nifty button right here allows them to gain access to the dashboard. So if I wanted to give, say, test 1 access to the dashboard, I simply click on give them access to the dashboard. And once you've allowed, you can revise this decision on your next review window period only. So what that is saying is at the end, these dashboards run for the entirety of your subscription. So because it's a 1-year subscription, typically, that means the dashboard is accessible for 1 year, right? To the end of your period. So if your anniversary was November 1st, your dashboards would expire on November 1st unless you renew. So say a client comes in March, but your anniversary is still November. If you select and add them a dashboard, they still only have access into the anniversary period, not from March to March, because March is not your anniversary period. It would just be when you allowed them in the system. And then they would renew at the beginning with the subscription. You would renew your subscription on your anniversary date, which would bring all of them over with you, unless you decided, which is what this is saying here, you can revise the decision on your next review, meaning at the end of the anniversary, you can elect to take that client off of a dashboard, and then it will not affect your number of dashboards accessible. I hope that made sense to you. And if not, please feel free to send me a message and I'll be happy to clarify that. So you cannot change dashboards throughout the year. So if you give a client access to a dashboard today and you decide 2 months from today that they are not the client you actually thought they were, and you want to pull that dashboard and give someone else that dashboard, it will not work. The dashboard that you give, that dashboard is connected to that company name until the anniversary of your subscription, not the anniversary of their registration. Okay. All right. So simply click on here, give them dashboard access. It confirms it. And quickly you'll see that it gives them dashboard access and it moves them to active. Now your client can actually go in and see their dashboard. So what does that look like on their side? Okay. And again, as I've stated earlier, there's multiple ways to do several things. As you can see, we created here where you can invite a client. You can do that from the dashboard. You can do that from invite client here. We've given you several ways, because when you want to add a client, you don't want to have to figure out what one way is there to do it. You want all the ways possible so you can do it as fast and efficiently as possible. Secondly, from the all clients button, you can see you can create a client. Now, this is where you can actually create your client manually. Say you're sitting in front of your client, you're talking to your client, or you're on the phone, or you're on a Zoom, or they're in your office, whatever the case may be, you can fill out the form for them, okay, and get them started down the process. And so this is the business profile section that they complete upon first entering into Pillar 5, okay? So let's take a look at what that looks like. So I'm just going to create another test demo. Company name is called Demo, and I'm going to call it 4. And we're just going to pick out any business classification. All right. And as you can see, the highlighted yellows are the requirements. So if you really wanted to fast track this, or your client wanted to fast track this and not be boggled down with a lot of answering questions right now, they can fill out those questions later. They can simply come in here and they can fill out this information. So let's just go in here and create a quick client, right? Just highlight the yellows. As you can see, there's a red button here. There's a red icon there, and there's a red one here. Now, Before I complete this, I do want to back up and show you something that's very relevant, because this question number 5 is actually a custom question that you get to ask to help you better identify your ideal client. Okay, so I'm just going to back up to create a client for a second. Okay, and on this page where you create the client is where you actually create the custom profile question. Okay, so here I can decide whether or not I want it to be a checkbox. I want them to text error, meaning they can write out their answer if it's a radio. All right, so for now we're just going to do radio, and let's just say what the ideal question that somebody maybe want to know is, is this a women-owned business? So let's just say the reason they're asking this question is because they only deal with women-owned businesses, right? If you're Texas Women University and you're working with women organizations, this would be the ideal question for you. And so you can come in here and you can add in your question. Simply just click in here and put in your numbers, put in your answers, and then you click update. All right, successfully custom question profile was created. All right, so let's go back into our create a client. Now, as you can see down here, is the women-owned business, is this a women-owned business? Okay, all right, so that's an easy way to create custom profile question. Now, you only get to create one, but make this the ideal question. What would be the one question you ask your client that once they answered it, I love binary questions, yes or no, helps you to determine whether or not they're your ideal client, right? And so you can create whatever question you like. All right, awesome. So that's how you can create a client manually. And that's also how you can come in and let's go back to my dashboard. And it's going to ask me to create this client, and I'm not going to want to create that client. Okay, so all right, so back to our invite a client button, all clients, and here is our create a client, right? So create a client. You can go there directly, or you can obviously come here. You can go to create a client. You can invite a client, and you can custom profile question. Okay. Now, obviously, as this list gets longer, if you think about that for a moment, if you have 200 diagnostics, that list is going to get pretty long, and you have access to 80 dashboards. Now, this is a Pro Plus model, and you can see that simply by going into our account, and you can see that this plan is a Pro Plus plan. You can buy add-ons, you can upgrade, you can renew the plan. It tells you when the plan expires. Obviously, if I want to upgrade the plan, it's going to show me back to the pricing page. All this is being renewed because if you're listening to this video at this time, we're doing lifetime access. So we're not going to do the monthly until we actually come out of our lifetime access pricing, which is only limited. So that's going to change. But you can also buy add-ons where you can add team members for the year. Again, everything is up till the anniversary date. You can buy more diagnostics. Say, for example, you were going to an event, you had 30 diagnostics left on your in your system, and you were going to an event that was going to host, say, 500 people. And you wanted to give at least 30 or 40 of them away versus giving away a swag bag or a business card, right? You'd want to give away a diagnostic to get detailed information and to provide them with insight into their own business. And I think that's the best swag bag you can give. And you can also get client account dashboards and seats. And you can simply come in here and pick packages. And again, these are all changing as we speak through the development process. So you see some updates, but you'll be able to put in whatever number you want. The more you buy, the cheaper they get. Same thing with the client access and team users. All right. All right. All right, so let's go back into our client sections. All right, so we did the create client. We know how to invite a client, and then we go to client reports. So this is a full report page. This is showing me the total number of clients that have actually come into the system. All right, and a total of virtual requests. Those are the invitations that were sent out. We call those VR links or VR requests, because you're not dealing with this client face-to-face. You're actually sending it out through email. and 3 of them were completed. So you got a 60% conversion rate there. Okay. And again, we talked about level completion. We're going to keep up with the number of days that the average level is completed across the entire system. That means every user, every client throughout our database. And the reason we'd like to do that is so that you have an insight to how long is it taking people to really get through different levels. And so when you're working with your client, you see your client is taking 49 days to get through a level, and the average to get through a level is, say, 28 days. You have a benchmark to tell your client, well, you know what? Most people are getting through this in 49 days. You're kind of dragging. You need to pick up the pace, right? Or maybe they need more attention from you. And obviously, more attention means more time. More time means more money. So the more time your client requires of you should be a barometer that's included inside of your formula to calculate how much you charge them. All right. So here, as you can see, I invited Demo T2, and gave them a dashboard. So it immediately pops up as a new lead, okay? Because now they have access to a dashboard, but no one on my team has contacted them. So I've clicked add them to the dashboard, but I haven't contacted them to welcome into the system, or, have that discussion in regards to negotiations on payment or whatever that is, right? You'd probably want to do that before you give them access. But you still want to follow up, make sure they understand the tool, they understand how to use it, and direct them to your resources, which I'll show you in a moment. So here's a new lead report. You're getting a new lead. And what stages are they in? Right? This client happens to be in an expansion stage. Right? And then once I've contacted them, I can mark them as contacted. If not, it'll start telling me how long has this client been here since you've actually invited them in. And you haven't talked to them. So it's showing you the number of days that they've been abandoned. And the thing you want to do is not have your clients spend too much time waiting to hear from you once they've got access. You want to get them going, get them started, because remember, this is the automated part of your consulting business. You want them to get started in the process so that they can start developing their business with your assistance. And the longer you take to get them started, the longer it's going to take them to start growing their business to a level of sustainability. All right. Then we have an inactive client report. So as clients pass the 7-day threshold of not doing anything in the system, you'll get an activity alert telling you, hey, this client hasn't done anything. They haven't marked anything. They haven't looked at any resources. They haven't done anything. Another way for you to keep up with your clients and know what they're doing or not doing. Then you have your weekly overview report. Okay. I know this report is changing, but really quick, it shows you the number of clients that were seated this week, week ending 7/19. Okay. So these are the end dates of the week. So this is week ending 7/19. So we haven't seated anyone this week. Well, actually, we just seated someone. And this is the beauty of going through the process during pre-launch, because we can catch these little fouls that are in here, right? We can also see the number of days abandoned, whether or not they clicked on a vendor in request for a service, and we'll show you what that is here momentarily. The number of VR links that were sent. And so tell them an invitation sent out by your organization during the reporting week, right? So how many did you send out this week? Okay. So I didn't send any. If I go and send an invitation link right now, it will show me this. So as you can see, this is an overall weekly review. This is not just for clients. This is about the clients and about you. Whether links were completed, whether they were, what was the conversion rate, and again, the average response time during the reporting period. How long did it take you to contact your client once they ended up in a new lead section? Okay. Then we have our client contact report. Okay, this client has been abandoned for 15 days, so they're showing up on my red alert. Okay, so we need to contact this client, and I can always go in, pull that client's report, and see what's going on, why we have not called that client. Okay, so here's a list of all of the 5 clients, as you can see, that are there. And I want to bring something to your attention really quick as we're moving through this. I want you to keep in mind 5 diagnostics were used, only 3 are on the dashboard, right? Okay. So, and I'm just going to go straight to the client report from the client report section. Again, there's always more than one way to get where you're trying to go. This is showing me all 5 of them, whether they were seated or not. This is all of the clients, all of the potential clients. Okay. Let's go over to all clients. There they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I sent you a diagnostic, but I've not given them a dashboard, but these I have given diagnostic and dashboard. You have the ability to view all of them here in your client reports. I can see every one of these clients, whether I gave them a dashboard or not. And remember I told you earlier, you can always get to areas more way than one. I'm going to show you that here in just a second with these clients reports. So really quick on these client reports, you can see when they were, who generated the lead. Okay. This is my account. I'm the super admin for the account, so it's telling you that I did this. If this was one of your staff members, you would know who that was because it'd be identified by that. Here's the name of the client, their title, whether they're the owner, marketing manager, whoever they are, whatever they put into that field. Company name, the phone number, their email, city, state, what industry they're in. Okay, sub-industries will populate these as we continue the development of the tool. What their revenue level is, this is going to be a key for you or for some people as they're going through deciding their ideal client. They're going to know, is this client generating enough revenue? If they're making $16,000 a year, that may not be a client for you. If they're making $160,000 a year, they may be a client for you. Tells you what life cycle stage they're in. Okay. And this is the actual life cycle stage that they're working in. Okay, so we'll note that. Their score, again, is going to be changed to percentages, so you'll see that update here quickly in the tool. The level of completion time, how long is it taking them to get from level to level? Now we're monitoring their time. And the origination date, when they first joined the system. Okay, so now let's just dig in. Let's just pick another one. And as you can see, we're back to a client report. You can see their information here. Okay, you can see what level, a current, and again, we're back on a detailed report. So as I said, there's more than one way to see all of the details of your client, more than one way to access that specific information. Okay, and if I wanted to go in because they said, I did this, but I made some error, it is in this specific report that you can go into business information and you can look at what is your current business life cycle stage, and you could see their answers. If they answered them, what was their last quarter's gross revenue? You can see those answers. Now, you can't change those answers, but you can definitely see those answers for that particular client. Okay. So now next, let's move on down to teams. So here you can create and add a team member. Very easy, picking the type, whether you're going to be an administrator, an agent. Obviously, the person who purchases the account is going to be the super admin. And everyone else underneath there can be an administrator or an agent. Just simply put in their name, their username, their email, and then they will get an email letting them know they've been invited into Pillar 5 as an agent, as an admin, and they need to create a password that they can get into. And then they're listed. Once they've done that, they become listed right here, and you can always change their status. If for some reason they're no longer with you, you want to remove them, you can simply just change the status on them. You can go in here and control their privileges. So as you can see, there's super profile privileges, manage client privileges, manage user privileges, manage the vendor privileges, the listings, the notifications, permissions, data, etc. You can come in here and change any one of these simply by clicking on the opposite radial. Okay, so that's how that works for the privileges. You can edit their information, right? There's their username, their password. If you wanted to create a password for them, you can create the password for them automatically. And you can obviously throw them away if you need it. You can delete them from the account. Okay, let's take a look at vendors. So the common question that we get when we're walking through the tool is, what is a vendor? What does that mean? All right, so what I'd like to do is just go back to the client dashboard for just a second. And I'm going to show you what the client sees. So what I did really quick, I hope I didn't move too fast. I'm on my list of clients. I'm at all clients. And as you see, my whole list of clients. I'm simply clicking on this. This is not taking me to the full report. This is taking me to what we call the client's dashboard, right? Client details. And it's on their dashboard. So you see something very similar to what you would see inside of their detail report, but it's not the detail report because it doesn't show you all of their questions. This is actually what your client sees. Okay, they see their V card here. They see where they are. They see their percentages, their overall. This view full report. This is where you can go to the full report. I'll show you. All right, so now I'm there. I'm at the full report. This will show me the reports and all of the questions. I'm going to back up. For them, they do not see every question. They only see the next three that are in the right sequence. So as you can notice from here, these building blocks, they're in a specific order. And they are because they're developed in a sequence, in a specific sequence to gain sustainability. The last thing we would want is a client working on the exit plan for their business when they haven't even wrote a business plan for their business, right? So we want to make sure that they're doing things in order. Don't create a business name until you figured out your market, right? Because you don't know who you're talking to yet. So there's a lot of questions when it comes to that. Anyway, these are in a sequence. So they only get the first three. So they'll get this one, and this one. And as you can see, infrastructure, management, and marketing. Those are the three. The last one that they'll need to do is a finance piece, but it's not there. They only see three, and this is to not overwhelm them. Confused minds will not buy. Confused minds will not work. They'll just get stuck and go, well, I don't know which one to work on first, and then they get overwhelmed by, can you imagine having all of these tasks just out there and letting them pick which ones to do? They will be working in the growth stage rather than in the seed stage. So this puts them in order for them. So here, as they land on these benchmarks and these building blocks, and they're working through this process, and they're reading these questions, one of my favorite pieces to this tool is the resource section. And that is, this is where you, as the consultant, get to put in your intellectual property, your brain power into an automated system. So really quick, oftentimes you find yourself saying the same thing over and over and over again to clients, multiple clients that you deal with, whether you're dealing with a startup business, right? So when you're dealing with a startup business, one of the things you want to know is, have they studied any sort of business ownership? And if they haven't, they should be some sort of masterclass, or you should be providing them some sort of resource to educate them on that, to help them. If you're consulting them, if you're coaching them, if you're an advisor to them. So in this process, rather than getting on a phone call with you or any of that, we've actually created this resource section. You can literally click, you can add your own resource content here. So every consultant is going to have different content. Your study of business ownership is going to be far different than my study of business ownership. We do have some defaults in the system if you don't have that type of content, but you can create your own content and put it here. And so your client, once they've read this, they can go to this video, watch the lesson, watch the training, whatever it is that you put here. It can be a video, it could be an audio, it could be a PDF file, whatever you like it to be for them to learn. They can go to that file, they can get that information, and then they can come back, do the task, mark it yes, and move on. Now that's putting your business on autopilot, because now what I found when I was doing this originally and we were developing Pillar 5 is that I would find myself explaining specific marketing pieces to all of my clients. And so the moment that I was able to create a video of some sort and give them that information, whether it was an hour-long or a 4-hour-long video, once I've done it one time, I never had to do it again. And they would go in and they would watch that video, and they can go to the Q&As in the video, and they would walk away understanding exactly what was expected of them in the KPI, in that building block. And so they never had to call me. The only calls I got was that, wow, that was really easy. Okay. And so they can move through this, and this allows you to put your business on autopilot. So this is one of my favorite features, because I know time is the most valuable part that we have. And so being able to come in here and do that is just super amazing to me. So they come in here and they can click it and they can watch this video right here. They don't got to be distracted or sent anywhere else. They can pause it. They can play it. They can do whatever they want. If they want to go to YouTube and watch it, they can simply click on the YouTube button or wherever you house the video, and they can go straight there. The reason I don't prefer to jump into this YouTube button is because you'll get all of the ads, but that doesn't mean you won't get an ad here. Okay. But those ads are not our ads. We're not creating ads. We're not marketing to your clients inside of this. This is strictly wherever you put it, that's what's going to be played. Okay, so that's your resource section. So since we're talking about resource section, let's talk about how to add this resource section to your system for your clients. So simply come over here to this area, click on your avatar, and go to resources, my resources. Boom. Right? So manage resource display. Now you can disable it or you can enable it. Okay. For you, it's enabled. In this case, I could pick what life cycle stages and levels I want to work on. So again, if I only focus on growth stage, then I may need to click on the growth stage. And then I need to click on my filter button. And so now I'm only going to get the questions from the growth stage. These are all of the building blocks for the growth stage. Okay. And now from this growth stage building block, I can read on, has your business plan been reviewed and approved by your advisory board or executive team? Okay. Now I'm not controlling the questions. I'm controlling this vendor. Here it's on default, but I don't want the default. I want to do a custom. So on custom, now, as you see, when I did that, it drops down. It automatically puts my logo in. It automatically puts my name in that I've created on my profile. And that's my vendor description profile, which I'll show you in a moment. And then I just put update. So now I can add whatever URL I want to add. Okay, so let's just click on one. All right, and in description, I'm going to put test. Okay, and let's save it. Okay, as it loads, and boom, there it is. There's a video right there that they can go and watch. So now that this is updated, the client would have to be in the growth stage looking at this question to see this resource. Okay. Again, we don't want to inundate, we don't want to bombard them with too much information before they're at their level, because if they're working on a business plan during the growth stage, it's a completely different business plan than when you're in the seed stage, right? So we want to make sure that, so you can go through and add whatever content you want to help your clients save you time, right? Save time, help your clients and save time. So I'm going to go back to the seed level and I'm going to filter this out just for a moment. And if you go to default, there may be some defaults in there that we've put into the tool ourselves. And we're going to continue to add more default content. And if you'd like your content to be inside of our default content so that other experts can use your content, may even help you get more clients or share clients with other consultants, then this would be the way to do that, right? Just let me know, reach out to me, send me a message, send us an email, and we'd be happy to talk with you until we get that updated into our system. But for now, it's at the default section. So in the default section, you can simply select default. That default content is going to appear here, and there they can go back. Let's go back and take a look. Let's make sure we're on default. What question? Let's go back and let's take a look at the question that I'm on, so we can make sure that we update that perfectly. All right, I'm going to go to Demo T. We're going to stay on Demo T for a second, and there's the default question, right? So again, you can have your content if you wanted to use custom content, or you could use the default content, or as you saw, you can always pick none. Some people do not want to provide content at all. They just rather have none. And so because they've marked it as none, nothing will appear when we go into that section. All right, so let's go back. Clients. Let's go into all clients, Demo T. Okay. And as you can see, there's none. No resources have been provided for this building block. Contact your consultant if you require any assistance in completing this task, right? All right, awesome. So that's one of my favorite features here. So that's how you do the resource. That's how you add your content into the section to help your clients work through the tool. Okay, now below, Here, where it says get expert help from these professional vendors. Another one of my great sections I love. It's you are able to add your vendors to this list. So right now, the way the system is developed, that the vendors must be a licensed user of Pillar 5. If they are a licensed user of Pillar 5, you can add them. Okay, so that means, let's say I have a partner who, or an associate or network partner who I deal with at uh, DNI or at the Chamber of Commerce, and they're an accountant, and I have another one who is an attorney. I may want to add them to my vendor list. Now, the only way I'm going to be able to add them to my vendor list is if they are licensed. If they're licensed with Pillar 5, I can simply add them as a contact here, because as consultants, as coaches, as advisors and mentors and strategists, we don't know everything. There are some things that we are just not experts in. We may not be experts in law. We may not be experts in accounting. We may not be experts in marketing. Whatever that is that we're not experts in, we want to make sure that we're adding professional assistance below, because that professional assistance is going to allow them, your clients, to seek out help when they need it. And if you're the one providing help, we believe that has a lot more power. It's not about only you making money. It's about you helping your clients achieve their goal, right? So if a client came to me and said, Carl, I need help in my business structure. Now, I understand some of that, but if they say, well, yeah, well, I have some legal issues because I have 3 partners and we want to split it this way, I would say, you know what? I have some associates of mine that are attorneys. Let me recommend you to an attorney, right? Why would I wait for my client to call me to say that if I can just put that information in my vendor directory? And so I can come here, and as you can see, there's no vendor profile listed here. But again, we're looking from the client side. So your client can go here and click see more, and they can see all of the vendors that you have in your custom vendor directory list. And as you can see, it took you right to this vendor directory list over here. So that's another way to do that, simply by clicking on the vendor directory. And again, this is for your clients to use. This is their part of the system. Okay. Now, for you, you'd want to go to vendors, and you'd want to go to manage vendor directory. And this allows you to control your vendors. This allows you to add vendors from our default vendor list that's in the system. You can pick any vendor you like, or just your vendors. So here you see my directory. That is a custom directory. If I click on global directory, then it's everything in the directory. Okay. And for some of you, I've met a few CPAs who say they cannot do such things. They're not allowed to recommend other service providers through a system. Okay. Whether it's true or false, if they can't, that's fine. They can always select no directory, and then the clients won't have access to a directory. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to use the my directory, right? And I always want to make sure that I update it so it recognizes the information. And then here, I can come in and I can start adding vendors to my list. I can read their profile information. I can either vendor request was sent. So I've actually sent a request to Teplar asking them to be listed to join my vendor directory list, right? They have not responded, so I haven't listed them. Now here, ABC Private Limited, right? They've already responded, so I can click add. Well, I'm sorry, I'm sending a request for them here, right? So I can simply say, are you sure you want to send a request to the vendor and add into your directory? Yes. So I'm going to send them a request. Okay. This will update and it'll tell you that the vendor request was sent. Okay. Here you can see these vendors are listed already. Those were the 2 that you saw previously. And I can add all of these as I like. And as they respond, okay, this one responded previously, so it automatically listed them. Okay. Now, sometimes you'll have a vendor and they may do bad by you, whatever the reason is that you don't want that vendor on that list anymore. You have a new contact, you have a new agreement. And so you want to remove that vendor from your list. You simply click on the remove vendor from your list. They are not removed from the default directory, but they are removed from your specific custom list. So now you see they're there, and they're unlisted. Okay. So that's how the vendor directory works. Now let's show you how to add yourself to the vendor directory. Now you can go there from the Manage My Vendor Profile view here, or you can go to my vendor profile here. Okay. And then from here, you just click Update Profile. You get to put in your name, your title, the year the company was founded. You can choose your logo. Simply click in here. It's got to be 300 pixels by 300 pixels. Then you can pick the categories. Now, these categories are going to allow you to select 5 building blocks that you associate your business with. So let me explain what that means. So if I'm into marketing, I'm going to pick a category that is associated with marketing, right? Which would be business services. I provide business services to clients, right? So if I select business services, let's close all of these off. Let's take all of these off so you can see. So I'm going to click out. So I selected business services. So now when I click in this field, it's going to bring me all of the KPIs under business services. Okay. So under business services, I'm able to select general business services. This actually also tells me that there's 100 building blocks inside of our tool that are under general business services. So if I want to reach more building blocks, I want to pick the higher numbers. But maybe it doesn't work that way. Maybe I'm into merchant accounts. Well, there's only 9 building blocks associated with merchant accounts, but you get to pick 5, and you can pick them from any category. You don't have to pick a specific category. You can literally select all categories, come in here and look at every one of our subcategories in there and select whichever ones you do. So for an example, you don't do accounting, you don't do bookkeeping, you do advertising and marketing. That's part of the things you do. Okay, so you can click on that. All right, now let's come on down. Let's keep going. What else do you may do? Coaching, consulting, advising, mentoring. That's all 115 KPIs that are in the system. We have 115 building blocks in our system. So right there, you get to touch every question. You can list your business in the vendor directory for every one of those questions for your potential clients. Okay, then you can come on down and let's say, what else do? You don't do legal services, you don't do payroll, you do general business services. Okay. And you come down, you do information research, you can help them with that. Okay. And let's just pick one more just to wrap up this particular functionality, and say you can help your clients with, I don't know, let's pick out something that makes a little more sense. Let's say software services and subscriptions, because you advise your clients on, whether or not to get Zoom or Webinar Jams or Zoho, or so you're advising on subscriptions. Okay. So let's just say you go that deep into it. And so then you click update. So now as you look below, all 5 of those building blocks are laid out. Those KPIs are there: advertising, marketing, information research, consulting, general services, right? And you can always put in an about us description. And I just put in there, and let's just go back so you can see the description is here. This is for test pages only. You can type in what you like, put it in your location, all of this information as you like. Okay. We also have a team report to show you your team, who's on your team, the number of clients that they've brought into the system, invitations sent, etc. Underneath, you have your documentation, which is our terms of use and privacy policy. There's also the help section where you can come in. We can go to our knowledge base and you can learn more about Pillar 5, frequently asked questions, more information on your account details, the industry data, small business industry data, and a lot of resources that we provide specifically to the consultants as well is in here. Things about orders and refunds and opt-out policies and things like that. You can always find that information inside the help section. Okay. And again, my account, my profile, change password, and log out is all the information you can find in this avatar. We just made it very easy for you to find that information on more than one area. Okay. Well, So let's close off with the dashboard, since it's always going to be the first part that you see. And again, this is your sustainability diagnostic number count, number of active dashboards count. This is how many you actually have in your package, how many you actually have remaining. Same thing with your dashboards. This is what's in your account, comes with your account. This is what is remaining. Here we'll have more case studies on how people are using Pillar 5. And we have a line of people that's putting together content because they want to share. They're super excited about how well it's helping them. Here's going to be that. We're going to load that information there for you. And from our client overview, you can see how many clients we actually have here. It says 3. Client is in 3 clients in the seed stage, as you can see. So 2, 3, they're all in the seed stage. And this is a percentage of clients. So if I had a client that was in the maturity stage, it would show you what percentage of clients was in the maturity stage, right? Again, vendor profile and vendor sections is being updated. We'll keep you posted on that. Recent activities will appear here. And in our abandoned client dashboard, abandoned clients are waiting on a new dashboard access. Clients who have been allowed into the system but have not yet been contacted, you can contact them from here. Simply click on the contact. It opens up the detailed report so that you can pull their phone number and whatever. You can call them while looking through their report and speaking with them, and then you can mark them as contact once you're done. All right, so I hope this walkthrough was very helpful. If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, feel free to reach out to us at info@idosystems.com. That's IDUE systems.com. Okay, thank you, and I hope you have a great day.